Hey, what's up? This is Actors Daily Bread, and welcome to an exclusive, I'm so excited, an exclusive interview with casting director and author Jen Rudinden. Her book is Confessions of a Casting Director. You are in for a huge treat. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is Actors Daily Bread. Today I have a very special guest, Jen Rudinden. Hello, you're on
Hello.
Jen is a casting director, an author. She used to be an actress. She teaches coaching classes, voiceover classes. I mean, she is a plethora of information, and she was kind enough to take some time to share her insight and to share some goodies from her book. Jen, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come hang with us today.
My pleasure. It's nice to see you again, Christine.
I know. Jen and I met years ago. I'm going to hold the book up. And I'm going to put the link into everything. So don't worry. The link will be above or below. So just click it to get to her Facebook page and the link to buy the book. But we'll get back to that. But Jen, you and I met kind of briefly when I was doing The Lion King.
Yeah.
And you came in almost kind of toward the end of one of the tours, I think.
Yeah. I was at Disney. I was a casting executive at Disney from 2002 to 2007. And 5 of the years were spent as head of casting for feature animation in Burbank, which was really fun, casting the voices. And then my last 2 years at Disney were spent overseeing and unifying all the talent and casting for all the Broadway shows and tours domestically. So we had Lion King, Mary Poppins, Little Mermaid, Tarzan, and did High School Musical, Beauty and the Beast. And my job was to unify and oversee. So like I would go visit the Lion King on tour, check in on the tours and see how everyone was doing and see who should maybe be moved to Broadway and if the children were too old, the young Nala and the young Simba. So it was a really fun job. So I probably met you in I don't know, Minneapolis or St. Louis somewhere, or Atlanta or DC. So I don't know. I would visit the tour all the time. It was really fun.
And I think I had one audition for you after that, and I couldn't even tell you what it was for.
Pilot season, probably.
Yeah, and I just remember I was like, that's so cool. Like that's, there's so many pieces to go that work behind the scenes to make that machine of Walt Disney certainly stay in going well. So give us a lot of people may not know, and I honestly didn't know, Jen, until I started reading the book, that you started as an actor.
Yes, I did. So I grew up in New York City, and I was a professional child actress from age 8 to 17. So I was obsessed with the Brady Bunch and Little House on the Prairie and the Love Boat. Like I would have done anything to be a guest star in any of those shows, not realizing that the Brady Bunch was already in syndication.
Right.
And so was Little House on the Prairie. But anyway, and Love Boat never had many children on the show.
Right.
But yeah, I found the audition process to be really quite brutal and tough, especially as a child actor. And when I was about 12 years old, I was at the final audition for an after school special. And I remember, which was a TV movie kind of dealing with issues of the zeitgeist, runaway kids and homeless people and those TV movies at the time in the 80s. And I looked at the casting director, and it seemed like she had such a fun job because she was facilitating this very stressful situation for us child actors and sort of bartending the day, introducing us to the director and being really nice to us. And I thought, that's probably what I'll do when I'm older. I have a photographic memory, so I always knew who was replacing who in what Broadway show. And I had a very extensive collection of playbills from a young age. So I sort of had a lot of knowledge like that. And the truth is I wasn't a very good actor. I kind of had a couple things I did well, but I didn't have the depth, nor did I want to do the work and the preparation that you need to do when you are an actor. And so becoming a casting director was a really great way to stay in show business and enjoy spending time with actors, but not being on that side of the table.
Right. what was your first foray? I know it's in the book, but your first foray into casting?
Yeah, so I interned for some casting directors during college. So I quit my childhood acting career at 17, and I left New York City, and I was really jaded and snobby about the business. And I did undergrad at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, and it was so humbling to go to the Midwest because here I was like this like snobby New Yorker. I thought I was so great because I'd been an actor, and there I am living on the dorm floor with like all these Wisconsin and Minnesota kids, and they were like, who does she think she is? So it was very humbling. I became a much nicer person, and I just did a history degree and a women's studies degree. I didn't do any theater. I took one theater class, but I quit because I knew that my energy I was going to be too like cynical for them. Right. And then during college, I interned for Meg Seinen, who's head of Warner Brothers casting in New York. She had her own company for many, many years. I interned for her. And I also interned during college for Marcia Schulman, who later became the head of Fox for a long time. So both Meg and Marcia were my early mentors. I can't stress enough about the importance of internships and how important they are in your career. And both of them like showed me, I mean, just being their intern and listening to them on the phone while filing their headshots, and getting an opportunity to read with the actors. I was pretty sure that that's what I would do. I did, however, graduate college, decide to audition again because I looked young and I thought, well, let me try it. I tried it in my 20s, which was such a disaster. And then I worked at Innovative Artists for a year. I spent some time on an agent's desk.
Okay.
Really fascinating. And then sort of went full-time into casting in 2000. So it's almost 20 years.
That's a beautiful blend of being on both sides of the table. You know, I told you offline that I have a wonderful community out there. Shout out to all my Hollywood-bound actors. And those of you who are new to me and new to Jen, you know, a lot of my audience, Jen, I have a lot of very green actors who are maybe adults and thinking, this is my dream, I think, and I'm going to try it. And then I have a lot of actors who I work with who have been in this for a long time, maybe have a little bit of that jaded thing going on, maybe have gotten to that kind of a halt where the bookings aren't coming where how they used to. What would, you know, with the newer actors, I'm so glad you touched on, you know, what it takes. You know, in your book, you talk a lot about the initial investment of acting, the cost of coaching, which I was so happy you put in there because I think people think, oh, I have one headshot, that's all I need to spend, you know, so you have that. But what would you say to those actors who maybe have come to that halt in their career where they just don't know what's wrong, why they haven't booked? Mm-hmm. I always suggest, you know, you kind of doing an evaluation, not just of your materials, but of the self. You know, how you have to do that for yourself as well.
I mean, honestly, if there's anything else you can do and find fulfillment, I would do that because this is such a tough business. And it's true. And it's not like you sign up for, you know, to play soccer and every Saturday you're going to play with your league or join have a mahjong club, you know, and every week you're going to go meet the women and play your game. There is no one trajectory for success in show business. And that makes us all still excited by the possibility and the promise, but also trying to figure out how you're going to do it. It's very hard to do that because we just don't know. And there's so many people auditioning and there's so many people who are actors. So if you love it and you want to do it, you have to do it. But it doesn't fall. It's not like you get an MBA and then you're qualified to go work at Citibank. You know, it's a very crazy, crazy business. And that's why we love it. And also find it so stressful. So, you know, for the actors out there, like, again, like if it's time to get the real estate license or be a yoga instructor or do anything else that will make you happy and let you have, you know, raise your kids and you know, buy a house, then you should, but you can't try to second guess this business and figure out what the problem is. You just have to keep on chopping away at the boulder. You know, you have to keep on every audition, keep on working, and use the auditions as like a fun time. You know, it's a time for you to like show what you can do. But if you try to understand it, rhyme or reason, it's never, you're going to drive yourself crazy. Yeah. So you can't do that.
Yeah. You know, and I encourage people all the time, like to have a life outside of acting. Mm-hmm. Like you can be fully committed, but do you have a community? Do you have other hobbies or activities? You know, especially living in Los Angeles, I see what that looks like when people are just like, I only have 90 days before I make it. And I'm like, what?
Right. And also, like, you're a better actor if you do other things, like if you read books. And I'm always the casting director who looks at somebody's resume and I say, oh my gosh, you have a BS in, molecular biology. Wow, you're a smart actor. You went to college and you studied something else. So I always am curious to know what else people are doing, but I'm just like by nature, like I'm sort of like I like to ask questions. I'm curious about people, and you're a better actor if you read books. You're a better actor if you read the newspaper. You're a better actor if you go to, a book club once a month or play, ride your bicycle. Like, but if you're just focusing on your acting, it can just feel so narrow.
Yeah. And so just all consuming.
Yeah.
I love how you talk a lot about actors feeling confident and prepared. And I personally approach it as my preparation leads to my confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you have she has some funny videos on YouTube with a lot of do's and don'ts. And I love that your book has a ton of do's and don'ts. Can you give me an example of, in your opinion, when you see an actor who is prepared, like what does that look like from the moment they walk in the room?
Sure. It's really just sort of having your life together. One of the videos is like the audition do's and don'ts. And it's so funny. Every time I watch the video about bringing the bags into the audition room and the boots and all your drama. And that's the truth. Like, you just want to come in. It's a job interview. You want to come in your best day ever, like you want to, for the women, like you got to like take the time, blow dry your hair, iron what top you're wearing. Think about how you look, because we are judging, we are assessing you from the moment you walk in the room. So being prepared, being early to that audition, parking the car early, sitting in your car, running the lines is better than being stressed out on the 405, running late, and just having your life together, like things happen. It's so funny with the book, Christine, because one of the copy editors kept saying to me, she was going through the final copy edit before it got published, and she kept saying, like, okay, enough about the traffic and the George Washington Bridge and the freeways in LA, like enough. And I was like, no, you can't stress enough how important it is to get to your audition on time. So I think if you just show up prepared and you've done your best, and the worst thing is to walk into that audition room and be like, oh my God, I just got the script and like I haven't, and to just be a disaster. Because if you can't follow simple directions in our audition room, we cannot endorse you to book the role and get on set, because once you're on set, nobody's going to pay attention to you. So if you're like, have all these red flags in our audition room, we can't with confidence say, oh my gosh, you've got to hire Christine Horn. She's terrific. Because if Christine came in all a mess, what's going to happen when you get to the set and it's 14 hours and you're, and you're shooting outside at night, like you need to like be really just like have your life together and do your best. And, look, some days you can't, the train does break down and there's nothing you can do, but best foot forward, as Mary Poppins always used to say, like, being prepared, like that's honestly like the most important thing. And that's not such a secret, but we have to come back to that every single audition.
And I would imagine, because I have several casting director friends, they don't want to get that phone call that this person you endorsed or said was going to be amazing, they're costing me money and time.
Yeah, I mean, we need our actors to be, that's why our relationships with actors are based on, come in for one audition, it's not that you didn't get the role, but you did a good job, we're going to bring you in again. It's this ongoing relationship that we have with actors, which is very different from what agents do with actors, which is represent them. We are like, you're in our talent pool, and so we want to know you so well and trust you that when we send you off to the set, it's going to be great. Because if not, like, I don't want to get that phone call, and I've gotten it. Once the thing is cast and the deal memo's done, and you go off to set on Monday, I'm on to my next role. Right. And, we don't want to have to do any recasting or anything crazy. So it's just very basic, but, I can read crazy from like a mile away, and I always have. And it makes me, I'm a very tough person to impress, because I can see, like, I see crazy stuff, and you just got to do your best to be as prepared as you can possibly be, given the fact that it's an audition and there's so very few things you can control. At least you can be prepared with your lines and, you know, give a good audition and then get on with your day after that.
He's like, I can see crazy. You got crazy.
I can. And by crazy, I'm not trying to offend anybody who has mental illness. I just mean like, I can see, you know, I can open up the door and look in the audition waiting room and I can spot who seems like they're going to be really high maintenance. And I want to hire nice actors. I also want to hire talented actors, but I really want to hire like, just like be professional and be, you know, be organized. And that will go so far for your career.
I absolutely agree. Speaking of being frazzled or being a hot mess, you know, I'm going to touch on a bit of a hot button that there's tons of opinions on. I mean, I know you also do career coaching for actors, and a big thing is marketing. We, as you know, as being an actor, you're told, don't do this, don't do this. Oh, I hate when actors do that. Everybody has an opinion about marketing. You know, I teach the actors I work with to make genuine connections, not be the stalkery, crazy person who's, you know, one of my agents in Atlanta, someone sent her a pizza with like their headshot attached to the pizza. I was reading in somebody's book, you know, I want to get a foot in the door, and they put it was just like,
it's too much, right?
Right. So can you give me an example just from, I'm sure you've gotten some things in the mail, of what feels when something comes in the mail for you that feels really genuine and heartfelt versus what feels slimy?
Sure. So, you know, I was raised by a Midwestern mom who always said, mail a thank you note, you know, and I still do. After I have meetings, I mail a thank you note. I have stationery. I have note cards that say Jennifer A. Rudinden on top, and I will do that. Now, it's hard because, you know, you know, sending a thank you note is a wonderful thing. A heartfelt thank you note. I have a collection of them, especially from young actors that I've either cast or worked with over the years. So something like that. It's nice sometimes if you book a really big job to send, you know, the casting director, you know, a bottle of wine or flowers or something. It's nice to say thank you. So I always appreciate that. The stuff I don't, you know, the reaching out on Facebook is really tricky. Technology is really tricky, which is why there's a whole chapter in Confessions of a Casting Director navigating called Don't Tweet Us, We'll Tweet You. And that's all about navigating technology. And it's like, you know, there's like so much you can do with technology that is good for your career. And then there's so many ways it can just go wrong. One of the things that really bothers me, so I love thank you notes. One of the things that really bothers me is when actors are talking about their auditions on Facebook. I think it's your own business, and you can't, you know, you shouldn't put anything on Facebook about really any of your auditions. And if you book the role, you know, I've heard somebody booked Wicked and posted and tweeted, and then they rescinded the contract because like it wasn't a done deal yet. Like you just have to ask questions about when it's appropriate to post stuff. But it really bothers me when I read on someone's Facebook page, like I had a, you know, producer session for Blue Bloods with Tom Selleck, and he was awesome and told me I was great. It's like, first of all, it's nobody's business that Mr. Selleck is even in those sessions or not in those sessions. It's not, you know, you shouldn't be putting, you know, you're saying you had a producer session and then somebody else didn't, you know, so how's that going to make them feel? So just be really humble on your social media. And then you announce things when there's something to say, you know?
Yeah.
So
I learned that a long time ago, and being on both sides of that. And so, you know, I believe if you're, okay, something's about to come out, okay, tune in to catch me on blank.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I had 7 auditions today. Like, I'm just worn out. Like, I don't want to hear that.
Right. And also it doesn't matter what it's like sexual harassment training they used to give us at Disney. Like, it doesn't matter what the intent was, it's the impact. So like, even if your intention is like, I had this amazing audition, the impact is like somebody else's feelings are hurt. Now there is a reference, I write about it in Confessions of a Casting Director. I write about how some actor posted on Facebook, like, finally had a commercial audition. Nice to see my agents finally getting me out there. Now his intention was ha ha ha.
Right.
Yay, I finally have an audition. Well, the owner of the agency saw that post and he promptly picked up the phone and he cut the contract, or he severed the contract and said, you're not our client anymore. So I love that example because that is so, you know, he really screwed himself up, this actor, by making a joke on Facebook, and
Right.
you know, it was not right. So that really bothers me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. You know, you guys, you really should pick up this book. It's on Amazon. What I love about this book, in addition to how the pages feel, I know that's such like a tiny detail, but I love it. But she talks about voiceovers, Broadway, film, TV, YouTube, even about being a reality TV star. So wherever you are specifically navigating, this book will help you. It's very easy to read the way you write. I love the audition stories, epic fails. She even has pictures for those of you who like seeing stuff. I'm going to put all your links here below. Is there, before we go, what is your one big hope when you were prepping for this book and now that it's out, that actors take away from this?
Sure. So please know that I wrote the book for actors. I actually started writing the book when I was still on staff at Disney. I was going around the country looking for a new Ariel in The Little Mermaid on Broadway, and I was like in 10 cities, and you know, it was this crazy trip. In January 2009, I started taking notes because I kept seeing all these young women coming in, and if I could just spend a little time with them to give them a couple of constructive pieces of advice, their audition would have gone so much better. And of course, there's no time in the audition to do that. That's why I wrote the book. I really wrote it for actors so that they could hear all my advice and you know, just aim to give better auditions. And so that's why, Christine, every chapter there's the, you know, TV pilot season chapter, the voiceover chapter, the musical theater chapter, because I'd seen so many things go wrong, and to put a positive spin on it and to say like, okay, so like, that's not the right cut to sing of your song. You want to show your competitive notes. Like that little thing, I didn't even have time to say that to some of these young women in these open calls. So I just want, you know, read the book and, you know, laugh. And it's great to carry in your bag or read it on the subway because it's like fun to flip through. But just, you know, I still reread the book. And I agree with everything I've said. I also have people that aren't in show business who read it and say, oh, I completely agree. Be early, you know, pull yourself together for your interview or your audition. So just, you know, this book is an easy read. It's not brain surgery. And as I said earlier, just even small bits of preparation can just make you have such a better audition. So yeah, that's why I wrote it. I wrote it for actors of all ages. And there's a huge chapter for parents.
Yeah,
I originally pitched the book to HarperCollins to be a casting director's guide for the modern day stage parent, which is like the worst title ever. And when they bought the book, that's what it was going to be. And then the head of HarperCollins said, you know, why don't you make it a book for actors of all ages, and you know, it'll have a wider appeal. And so you know, that's why I wrote it. I really wrote it to help because I've been on your side, and I want to help, because if you guys are prepared, it makes our job so much easier. You know, we enjoy auditions, but we don't want to be doing them. We don't have the time to be doing them forever. So
yeah,
you know,
that's one thing I tell, and we're wrapping in a second, but you know, and I used to be this way too when I was younger. We used to be scared of casting directors, and it took years to get and understand that you were on our side. You want us to do a good job. And I think that is the paradigm shift a lot of actors have to make. Like, this is a human in this room. They have a cool job, but they want you to be the one. They can be like, okay, I got my person.
Right. And also, like, you know, I've been called the casting director for the people, because which I love, because like yoga for the people. Yeah. It's like, I'm a nice person and I care about people. Nice but firm. That's sort of how I view myself in the casting room, right? Like, I'm pleasant and I'll always say hello and tell you I love what you're wearing, but then we have to get to the work, because there's not a lot of time to sit and schmooze. But being kind to an actor, I'll be kind to you, but I also need you to, you know, to do your job. So we do want to help you. And sometimes if we're curt, it's because like there are 60 people a day coming in and I haven't had lunch yet, you know, there are 60 people a day and I'm trying to eat lunch, you know, and our clients want everything sooner and quicker and faster than, you know, now, especially they expect to be watching it while we're, you know, doing auditions. It's just crazy. So that's, you know, but casting director for the people, I always like that because it sounds like I'm I'm an actually genuinely nice person.
Yeah.
So some casting directors are, some aren't, you know, but it's a tough job for sure. And it's also the most, sometimes it's such a thankless job. We're fighting to get an Oscar category. We're fighting to get a Tony Award. It's just like nobody seems to ever remember by the time you win your Academy Award that like a casting director actually had been tracking you. Nobody ever seems to remember. And so I just let it go because it's like, I can't, can't be upset about that. But anyway, it's time for, that's another discussion.
Right. But that is the stuff we don't think about. And again, it goes back to, we're all humans, and each piece, we all bring a piece to the puzzle of the end result of whether it's a TV show or a movie.
Yeah.
Again, Rudinden, thank you so much for speaking to my audience. You guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're on Facebook, hit the notifications. Connect with Jen online. I'm going to put all the links above and below so you will not miss a beat. Confessions of a Casting Director. You see, I already got my tabs. I'm not done. But I'm excited. Thank you so much, Jen.
Thank you. And we'll catch up next time I'm in LA. Let's have a proper hello in person.
Yes, that sounds good.
Great.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.